you! Get out of my place!
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
Okay, so I know that it's October, it's Halloween month. I said I was going to only do horror movies. Plenty of horror movies there. But I've just been on Amazon Prime and I've just watched Rambo Last Blood for the second time. The first time I watched it was when I went to the pictures to watch it last year with my dad and my brother. I thought it was absolutely awesome then. And I was a bit weary of watching it on the small screen because obviously sometimes on the big screen it is a lot better. You get into the action a lot more on the big screen. So I've kind of put it off a little bit, watching it on the small screen. But I've just watched it on the small screen and I was not disappointed once again. This movie is absolutely awesome. If you haven't seen it, there's probably going to be a few spoilers in this review. The movie starts off, he's living back home, he's living on the Rambo ranch. He hasn't adopted, but he's moved a couple of Mexicans in to his house. There's a woman there, I think she's sort of like a maid. And then there's another little girl, she is classed as his niece. And she goes to Mexico looking for her father. Now at the Rambo ranch, there's all kind of tunnels built all under the ranch. He's retired, obviously, retired veteran, but he's still into making his weapons. He still has all of his guns, and in these tunnels, he has all of his facilities for making knives, and he still has his Rambo knives and all that kind of thing.
Did you finish breaking up the horses?
Yeah, pretty much.
So as I say, his niece, Gabrielle, she goes looking for her real dad in Mexico. She turns up, she finds her real dad. She's being helped by a friend that used to live in America with her, but she moved to Mexico. So she goes to see her dad. Her dad basically tells her to wants nothing to do with her. She comes out all upset. A so-called friend takes her to the pub, and this is where the Mexican cartel, they kidnap her. And a storyline that shows you just how bad the human race still is. That they're going to sell her as sort of a sex slave. They drug her up. They put drugs in her. Going to sell her off. Make her. They don't care that she's an individual, a girl, a human. They just see her as a money-making scheme. Drug her and they're going to sell her in the sex slave industry. This is where, they've chosen the wrong person to be fair. Rambo comes to try and help her. So he finds one of the drug cartel, Mexican cartel, that actually kidnapped her. He goes to the pub, he doesn't drag him out the pub, he gets him out the pub, gets him at the car. And this scene is absolutely brutal. He gets his knife, stabs the butt of his knife in there, stabs the knife into his leg. And then this bit, if you're not into little bits of gore, and this bit will be too much for you. He digs his thumb in, and it's close up, gets it right in, under his collarbone, and snaps his collarbone out, and it shows you a nice close-up of it. It is absolutely brutal, this scene. And this guy tells him where his niece is, Gabrielle. So he goes to this house to find Gabrielle. But this is where things go a bit wrong for Rambo. He gets absolutely surrounded by all these Mexican cartel. He gets surrounded. The two brothers are there, the two head of this sort of part of the cartel. They're all giving him an absolute kicking and slice a big V. I think it must be called Victor or something like that. Slice that into his face. Leave him there and they say, you're going to know exactly what is happening to your niece. And you're going to have to live with it for trying to come and rescue her.
They're just things. They have no worth to men like us. So, I would have not paid attention to this. To her. But no, I will.
So he goes away, he's got a massive concussion, he's knocked out for 4 days. But then he wakes up, obviously it's Rambo. Rambo's not going to give up. So he goes in, and he tries, and he saves the girl, and he goes in with his hammer. He's hitting these guys on the head with a hammer and there's blood just splurting around everywhere. Another brutal scene. He finds her, rescues her, takes her back across the border in America. Massive spoiler alert here. Massive spoiler alert. She dies. Sorry, I told you there was going to be spoilers in this. You've probably already seen it anyway. You're just watching it for what I think of this movie. She dies. And this is where Rambo meets Kevin McAllister, Home Alone. So you remember at the start of the review, I told you he's got all these tunnels built around his house. He starts making all these traps in the house, all these things that'll shoot down. He's dug holes. People are falling in holes. There's spikes underneath the holes. He's got guns. He's got holes everywhere. He's got it all set up for when the Mexican cartel are going to show up at his house. Now, you might think they're going to leave him alone. The girl's gone. But he goes back, and the skinny one that put the slice into his face, he goes to his house, kills a couple of the bodyguards, brutally once again. It's Rambo. It's got to be brutal. And it doesn't actually show you what he does to the skinny guy, but it shows you the aftermath of what he does to the skinny guy, the brother. And he's lying on the bed, knife in his chest, and he's decapitated him. He's actually cut his head off, and then it clips to Rambo, and he throws the guy's head and rolls along. And this is where his other brother gets all of them. I mean, there must be about 20 and 30 of these guys turn up at Rambo's ranch. And some of the scenes are, well, absolutely brutal once again. Absolutely brutal. When they go down, not just in the tunnels, it starts off big explosions at first. They all go down into the tunnels. And some of the scenes, there's just blood. Just splattering everywhere. People falling through holes. It's like Home Alone on steroids. People falling through onto spikes. One of the most brutal scenes is there's this sort of broom thing that comes out with two spikes on and hits this guy there and just absolutely slices into his head. There's another one, like I said before, he's got a hole through the wall and he shoves this spike through the hole in the wall, goes straight through the guy's head. His friend starts shooting, and this bit's absolutely brutal. He drops down, gets the knife, and there's a little hole in the bottom, and slices the guy's leg just clean off. And he said that he was going to show them fear. They're going to know when death's coming. And the brother at the end, he knows when death's coming. It's an absolutely brilliant finishing scene. You know Rambo with his bow and arrow, shoots him, traps him, traps him, traps him, traps him. He's stuck there. Now this scene isn't for the faint-hearted. If you don't like gore, if you don't like brutality, do not watch this bit. He grabs the knife, sticks it in him, and sort of cuts him down there, cuts him across, rams his fist into the guy's chest, rips out of his heart, and shows him his heart. But
I don't know that one.
I didn't see Alexa, did I? Alexa, shut up. But anyway, this movie, for me, I know Rotten Tomatoes and that have given it like 26% and all that, but I think this movie is brilliant. Like I say, I watched it at the pictures. I wasn't sure to watch it on the small screen because I didn't think it would live up to what it did on the big screen, but for me, it did. As you know, I'm a massive Sylvester Stallone fan, and this is why I'm a massive Sylvester Stallone fan. 70 years old, still kicking ass. I give this movie 9 out of 10. As always, Sylvester Stallone, brilliant performance. All the other characters, brilliant performance. I think it's well written. You really feel for Gabrielle. You really feel when she dies. Pulls on your heartstrings. Absolutely brilliant movie. It's on Amazon Prime now. If you've got Amazon Prime, go and stick it on. You won't be disappointed in this. I know I've told you most of the story, but for visually, you'll enjoy it. It's an action-packed, 80s sort of action-packed style. Back to the old Rambos of old. Absolutely brilliant. I can see Alexa wants to get in on this. Alexa, play Rambo music.
Rambo, Last Blood by Bryson Tiller, featuring The Weeknd, is only available with Amazon Music Unlimited. Here's a station based on Rambo, Last Blood.
Alexa, shut up. Oh well. Try to get some music. She tried to interrupt me review. We tried to bring her in. She just didn't care, did she? Didn't care. I'm Mark. This is For the Love of Movies. Go and check out Rambo, Last Blood. You won't be disappointed. I will say, if you're not into blood, guts, gore, massive action, brutality, the story doesn't hold back anything when they're showing these girls as sort of sexed up drug slaves. It is the horrible watch of what humans probably are actually like over everywhere in the world. I'm Mark. This is For the Love of Movies. Thank you and goodbye.
Like an angel on your shoulder, see? And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch! Because Mickey loves you."